What's going on, y'all? It's Gnostic John. I just want to tell y'all niggas, life is what you make it. I'll say it again. Life is what you make it. And I know a lot of times, probably hear that a lot. But I feel like even when people hear that, they still assuming that their experiences are governed by things outside of their control. And shit, it could seem that way. It could seem that way a lot of the time, is that things outside of us have control over the type of lives that we experience. But it's only because we've been programmed and conditioned to think that way, to feel that way, to act that way. We learned how to be helpless, learned how to be victims, and perpetually tell a narrative to ourselves about how things happen to us and how things are either good or bad, or whatever, meaning we assign to whatever happens. And it's like reasonable. First of all, most of these things are learned very early in life, right? So it's reasonable for that reason, is that we learned it early in life. So it's like it was a time where we were just experiencing a lot of things for the first time, and based off of the energy or based off of the impact that it had on us, we labeled it in our minds as a good experience or a bad experience, and we labeled someone's actions or words or whatever the circumstances consisted of as negative or positive or good or bad, whatever. And it's not to say that things like negative and positive aren't things. It's just more to say that the experiences that we have and the meanings that we assign to them, it doesn't necessarily mean that those things mean the meanings we assign. And I feel like that's getting harder and harder. It's easy to see when you see it, but when there are a bunch of distractions taking you away from yourself, it becomes harder and harder to see it. And I feel like now it's just become so it's so easy to be distracted now more than ever. So I say all this to say, even me and my thoughts, sometimes I paint stories about how things happen in my life and what they mean and what other people's intentions are and how they and all of that is just really like a self-defense mechanism or a self-protection mechanism. It's none of it's based in any objective truth other than my need for survival. Like, I often wonder sometimes, if I didn't have this need to survive or desire or whatever, instinct, I guess you'd say a better word, instinct to survive, how would I be like about pretty much anything? Like anything anyone does, says, or anything. I'm pretty sure if I wasn't caught up on that, or if I wasn't caught up on that, and I wanted to also add the idea of not feeling pain and feeling pleasure, as opposed wanting to feel pleasure as opposed to feeling pain, which I feel like also still kind of stems from survival, self-preservation, wanting to preserve the body, the self, whatever. I say all that to say it could be very difficult to discern between the way that you're painting certain situations, scenarios, people, places, and what it is in objective reality. And that could lead to issues where you're either causing yourself harm or causing harm to others because of your lack of understanding. But then there's the flip side, which is like if you're completely I guess absolved from all of that, and you don't really have a opinion or perspective or a story of some sort about things, then that could become very, very tricky and potentially scary, or not even scary, because I guess if you're at that point, you're not really scared. But I would guess I would say it could be harmful. So yeah, I think it serves a function to have some sort of a story or some sort of cohesive idea or structure around things, but less of labeling, because of the labeling also creates you can't go beyond the labels. Once you've identified things as certain things, you you literally trap yourself in a box by being too sure of what you think things mean all the time. Like it it's crazy. You would never know that you don't know. Well, unless you don't. Even then, you won't know unless you're like, in a group of people and they all have like this knowing of something, and you're just like, wow, I'm way out of fucking touch. It could be like a social cue or a social something, that's just so like probably so obvious to these people that they look at you like, what the fuck, where have you been? And you're like, what? Like, and that's just something small. I could only, that's just from person to person. Imagine the things that no one knows, or the things we all think is true that is completely untrue, or like, all of these things, right? And it's interesting to talk about because, I could think of right now just things that I've told myself even today that kind of fall in line with like a story or narrative, and I'm just kind of like in my head like, is that really true? For the most part, it's just like you kind of just got to stand on what you stand on, and allow things to play its course and then be corrected in time. If you're not as aware about the fact that you're creating these things, and it has a direct impact on the way that you see the world, you live your life, and all of these things, and then it also boils back down to personal decisions, deciding to take care of your health, deciding to take care of your body, showing yourself self-love and giving yourself demonstrations of worth that will help, elevate the way you probably feel. You'll probably feel more good than not good to do those things. And, that kind of alters the way life revolves around you. So it's like, even if things in life, everyone's treating you bad, like, whatever, people say something bad about you, they attack you. All of these things have happened to me, and I still feel like, even though part of me is telling myself a story about it, like this person did this and da da da, it's another part of me that's like, bro, like, it's a part of me that's like, just doesn't really care. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't really, like, it's like, yeah, it appears as though someone attacked me, right? But in reality, I don't care. Like, I guess I was made to feel as though someone attacking me was a problem. I was made to feel as though, and it probably sounds crazy. Like, what? Obviously, someone's attacking you. If someone's attacking you, it's a problem. You have to, again, like, I feel like all these things are so deeply rooted in this idea of self-preservation. Like, we are the bodies that we inhabit, and we're only the body. Like, I feel like all of these things just lock us deeper and deeper into just being nothing but bodies and disconnected from our spirit. Because I feel like as spirit or as soul or God, nature, we supersede all of the perceptions and narratives, ideas, emotions, concepts, and all of that stuff. At least that's my belief. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe it, and I would stand on that. And it also lends to what I'm speaking on now, which is we create our experience regardless of what's happening, regardless of what people say or what people do. And it's important to remember that, because that's how you take your energy back. That's how you take your power. That's how you take your true power back. Your authentic power lies within you and only within you. And the more that you can see that it literally solely lies within you, the more your brain could kick into high gear, or not, maybe your spirit or whatever's driving this thing. It just gets this signal that says, oh, we're orchestrating this whole thing. And then it comes up with all the ways and means and how to handle all the circumstances that present themselves, because you get to realize that you're the creator of your experience. So no matter what, no matter what, you have full creativity to paint your experience however you like. That's something that no one can take away from you. People will try, and we've been conditioned to allow people to take that away from us. But in reality, it cannot be taken from us, because at the end of the day, when we're giving away our power to other people, their opinions, their perceptions, we're choosing that. We're saying this person's opinion means something. I have to give it thought and energy and attention. And then I have to tell myself that they're right about what they're saying or what they're thinking, when no one knows what they're talking about. And that's another thing. When you get to this point, you get to realize no one knows what they're even saying. Everyone's just going off of a script that they ain't even write. Okay, so it's like, that's another thing. You start to realize, like, oh shit, like, I think the way that I do because I'm following a script that I thought that was like I was supposed to follow. Like, when people attack you, it's bad. You should fight them back. When people talk bad about you, you should, talk bad back about them. When people try to kill you, you should go try to kill them. And I'm not saying that any of that is wrong or right or wrong. That's not what this is about. This is about understanding you can do anything with your experience. And the only thing that limits you is the idea that you can't, because of fear of your being, or not your being, but your body being gotten rid of for whatever reason. But your body's you're gonna get rid of your body at some point anyway. So, newsflash. So, you know, I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like people understood. Like, yeah, I'm limited, as I won't be in this body forever. So, while I'm in this body, I should probably try to take control of the direct experience that I'm having within it, and finding ways to walk myself back to the realization that I am in control and I have the power to change any circumstance, no matter how it looks, how it seems, how it feels at one particular moment. It could always change. It's always the logical mind, the rational mind, the planning mind, the analytical mind that's saying things are this is that, labeling and defining and boxing everything, putting everything in boxes. And that's what I call it, putting everything in boxes. But not everything could fit in a box. Not everything could be contained within a box. Actually, nothing could really be contained within a box. The box is an illusion. It's to give the idea that things could be contained, but in reality, nothing could be contained inside of a box. At least not forever. Unless someone put something inside of it and shut the lid and made sure nothing got out. But if we're allowing things to be, then nothing could be stuck in a box if we're allowing. But if we're not allowing, then yeah, we're forcing everything into a box. That's why we got people that are desperate for control. They don't realize they're just putting everything into boxes, and they think that it's called progression. But it's really diluting everything. All of it is becoming more and more diluted due to the fact that things aren't being allowed to flow unrestrictedly. Instead, they're trying to force and box things, and it's made us into forceful boxes. They just force boxes. We gotta force life to go our way because we're suffering, we're poor, or we're not happy, or we're not satisfied, or we're not this. And you got to go out and get it, and struggle against life to obtain and accomplish. I mean, I would say there is some sort of allure to that. But I would say the more that you see the control you actually have, the less allure the idea of doing any of those things sound like anything to really do anything special for you. And you start to realize that's just a trick they play on people who don't really see it, that they have all the control. And none of these things are what contributes to or takes away from the experience. It's all derived from within. All of it. There's not one thing that isn't. And once that's seen, everything else is just it's a feature. It's not a, that's what I'm saying. Like, attachment is the idea that, it's, like I said, it's all connected from fear to this idea of impermanence to, which is also linked to the fears because of that. And all of that just creates this desire for control because it's like I only have a certain amount of time to make things go how I want it to go. But when you really see yourself for what you are, you understand that you're limitless beyond time, space. All of this stuff is just an illusion. And you have the power and the tools to see beyond it. So reclaim your authentic power and realize that your experiences are your creation. If you don't like something about your reality, you can easily change it. It's not that hard. It's just about where you put your attention. It may seem hard because we're meant to believe, oh, this person said this about me, I gotta give my attention. Oh, this person tried to hurt me, I gotta make sure I protect myself. But really, you're just giving more energy to the wrong things. But they've beat us into thinking this way. It's so bad. Because even while I'm saying this, it's like I'm like waking up and then falling back asleep mid-sentence. Because it's like, Jesus, you got to actually pay close attention to this shit to peep it all. But I'll leave it there for this one. More in the next. Gnostic Jah. I love y'all. Peace.